And so it's important that we properly welcome you. I am not fit to do that. There's a man who has been working tirelessly with his team to put all of this together. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the CEO of Africa Economic Summit Group, Dr. Brian Ruben. Put your hands together for Dr. Brian Ruben. He will be giving us the welcome address. After that, we'll have the opening remarks. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ernest. And His Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank all of you for being here today at the third edition of the Africa Economic Summit. The legendary Kwame Nkrumah once said, "The forces that unite us are intrinsic and greater than the pre-imposed influences that keep us apart." Africa is a great continent, and that I believe with all my heart. We have some of the greatest resources you can imagine, from natural resources to human beings. And I believe strongly in my heart that this is a time for Africa. This is a time for Africa to lead the world. And that is what this summit is about. It is to bring about a strengthening of the competitiveness of African economies so that we can be strong among the Committee of Nations. And I'm delighted that we are gathered here today and that we cannot be a part of this very important summit. But I would like to, at this moment, have everyone join me in welcoming the Honorable Minister for Environment, Science and Innovation, Technology and Innovation for the Republic of Ghana, who will declare this summit open, and we can move on to all of the plenaries and all of the panels that will follow. Please join me with a warm applause as I welcome the Honorable Minister.
Thank you, and good morning. My name is Kwaku Afriye, Minister for Environment, Science, Technology, and Innovation. I'm also an MP, but I'm a farmer and a practicing physician. So I'm in all places. But let me say that I'm very, very happy to be here. And on behalf of my president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and the people of Ghana, I want to welcome you all to this very, very important summit. Indeed, Africa needs this. Africa has been denigrated, we've been marginalized, and we have been complicit in this. Complicit in the sense that we have accepted that we should not, because when all the historical analysis shows that we are very resilient people, we have suffered historical all forms of atrocities, but we are thriving. Africa is thriving. At least we are growing. We have the population. When you talk the median population, I believe that the age is 19, the youngest population of all the continents or the regions in the world. And we have made a lot of contribution to development elsewhere. We can rightly claim that we have contributed to the development of America. We've contributed to the development of Western Europe and so on and so forth. We are very civilized people. When you do all the deductions and reductions, you will see that civilization started from here. It's only when some people get a quantum leap, then it appears that they are ahead of us. They are not. But still, we maintain the essential elements of what is good for humanity. But today, we are meeting here because of economic reasons. Yes, by all parameters, our region is not developing as it should. But there is hope. Africa can develop. We have the resources, and like we said, we have all the material resources, the minerals, the forest, the flora, the fauna, and we have the human resource to do that. We should not forget that we've made contributions in the past to civilization. When Africa used to be, you have civilized societies, a lot of other people in other areas were living in darkness, literally speaking. So we should leverage on that and say that we are going to make the effort to develop our region. But let me say that today is very, very important. I understand this is the third meeting since this African Summit series started. And let Accra be an epochal meeting. So many things have happened in recent times. We are in the post-pandemic areas. I know I was just discussing with Dr. that the way we even fought against COVID, people are not even giving us credit more than we deserve. For example, I'm not picking on any country. If you take Ghana, for example, and I'm just opposing it against some other country, I'm not picking on them. I know how sensitive sometimes this political arena can be. But almighty USA, they've lost over 1 million people. Their population is 320. And look at Ghana. We have a population of 32 million people. Our president decided that that fight was an existential fight, COVID. And being a public health physician, I noticed that when America was fighting among themselves, even about whom to even lead the crusade against COVID, our president took charge. America has lost 1 million people, more than. By extrapolation, Ghana should have lost more than 100,000 people, assuming our health systems were normal. But we've lost exactly 1,546 people. So virtually, we didn't lose anything. But a lot of theories have been propounded that because we live in tropical climate, we had a lot of advantage. Maybe, but if you just oppose it against the losses in Ecuador and Brazil, you see that it took a lot of human intervention. And in Ghana, I don't know about other countries. That's why I'm giving examples in the African arena. And I'm picking successes from where we have succeeded. So COVID, Africa together, it wasn't happenstance. Even poor countries surrounding us, they did their best. At least public education was there. We had a national consensus in La Côte d'Ivoire, had a national consensus even in Striveton, Burkina Faso, national consensus in Togo and all that. Even there were a few disagreements here and there. And then we fought COVID. Same thing, we fought epidemics. We've succeeded in fighting Ebola. The EPI program in Ghana is a wonderful success about how human beings can coordinate their efforts and fight and eliminate diseases like measles, tuberculosis, whooping cough, and whatnot. We have fought against dracunculus medinae, that is Guinea worm, onchocerciasis. I'm a physician, so I'm taking successes from this arena to say that we can win the economic battle. We certainly can prevail, and it is not too late. That is why I urge you. But there are some countries we have to look to. I know that it might not be too politically correct to pick on some countries, but I'll do, because I'm an African. Not only am I a Ghanaian, I'm a Nigerian. I'm an Ivorian, and I speak. In fact, if the colonialists had left us to our devices, perhaps I would be an Ivorian, because my dialect, my Akan dialect, is more towards Baule than towards Twi. but here I am a Ghanaian. So I will put some niceties aside. Nigeria, please do your bit. You are an economic giant. Pull the whole of West Africa along. You are not living up to your billing. You must be told in the face. That is what Japan did and pulled the Asian Rim along, the Koreas and whatnot. They would not have developed if Japan had not developed. We are looking up to you, big boy, Nigeria. The same thing with, I can cite other examples, but perhaps I have to be careful. As for Nigerians, we can take liberties with them. And I know I'll be safe, no problem here. That is why Sudan too, they should get their act together. And but this international fight will not help anybody. And we bleed, and it grieves my heart to see what is happening in Africa. We are talking economics. Politics is also important. But politics is not everything. Politics should unite us. And in fact, we should succeed in the economic realm. If you find that you have been very successful politically, and you are the apex and your rest of your people are wallowing in poverty, your success is no success. It has no meaning. But I was invited here to make a few remarks. Internally, I'm known for making very, very, remarks sometimes which hits people. I think I will stop myself here so that I do not go straight too far. But let me say that I'm very, very excited to be here and to, on behalf of my president, to say that this summit is duly recognized as opened today, and I wish all of us useful deliberation. I wish I will strive and see whether I can come during the session on the climate change and what do you call it, energy transition and all that, because that's also relevant to our economies. That is where my strength is. For now, I've tried to, give remarks which are relevant to overall subject at hand. So with that, I thank you all so much for tolerating me. Thank you very much.